Hello, I'm Lyda Nardelli, and welcome to the teachings of Mass India. The spirits have asked me to share a series of 3 messages with you. The first is staying true to your spiritual integrity and soul purpose. The second message is how to value who you are and what you truly want in life. And the other is devotional love, what it is, and how to create more of it. So I'm just going to tune in and let them begin with our first message, staying true to your spiritual integrity and soul purpose. Very good, very good. Hello. Well, to begin with, what is spiritual integrity and what is soul purpose? Spiritual integrity is being honest with your feelings, for one. It's about being honest with other people's feelings also. We're going to talk a bit more about that. And soul purpose is about living from the honor code of your integrity, ultimately. And how you give that to your life, how you give that to your endeavors, to your relationships, to your work, to everything that you're a part of. The more you give of your spiritual integrity, the more you give of yourself, true self, the more on purpose you are. So let's talk a little bit more about spiritual integrity. You've all learned ways of coping with life, to the point of being so utterly reactionary, most of you. And we're not here to make that right or wrong. It is what it is. We're here to help you recognize that being reactionary is not a fertile nature. It is not a rich, foundational energy to create the lives that you want. What supports you in creating the lives that you want is integrity, deep, deep spiritual integrity. And while that doesn't really look like that reactionary energy that so many of you are very familiar with. We could say that the opposite of spiritual integrity is clinging to the familiar, to the point of distrusting the unknown, to the point of distrusting ultimately in the power of your prayers. But how can you fully live your soul purpose if you don't trust in your dreams? If you don't trust in what you want, if you don't trust in who you are in the world. And that brings us back to ultimately not only being honest with your own experience, your own feelings, but being honest with other people, meaning that when you just drop the volume of that reactionary energy that we were talking about, you're able to breathe a little bit more deeply, and you're able to listen. Really listen to others. But of course, you can't really listen to others if you're not listening to yourself, which brings us back to spiritual integrity. It's all about listening. Really listening. To what then? What are we listening to? What are we looking for? What are we working on? What's the purpose? What is it going to amount to? What is our sole purpose? What is it going to achieve? We're back to the familiar, projecting a lot of concern and worry onto what is yet to come, the unknown. We know you will do it. And we're not here to make that kind of anxiety, that kind of worry, that kind of coping with life, we're not here to make it wrong. We're here to name it. Because in naming, you might pause long enough to listen. Really, really listen to what is before you. Because if you're listening to your feelings, then you're communicating them clearly. And if you're listening to other people, really listening, then there's space in you for their feelings. Because you're not making it right or wrong either. Whatever their feelings are, whether their feelings are right or wrong. And their feelings might be accusatory. They might be blame-oriented in their expression of their feelings, which is not fun. And you might want to make them stop doing that, stop making you wrong. And the minute that you try to stop them from expressing themselves the way they are expressing themselves, you are back to coping, reacting, not being in your spiritual integrity. Because spiritual integrity, what it really looks like, is holding such a sacred space that whatever the other person is expressing is just that. It's just their expression. That's it. You don't have to read more into it. You don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to fix it or resolve it. Something incredible happens when you just listen. Of course, we don't mean just listen in judgment, because that's reactionary again. We mean listening with care. With care. And there are all kinds of tools for listening with care and with empathy and with understanding. And, you can learn all those tools. Or you can find them from within. You can take a course, you can take many courses on communication skills and learning to listen with empathy. But learning to listen with empathy can't really be learnt. It's something you remember. It's a return to your spirit. It's a return to your spirit, your spiritual integrity. You can't really learn spiritual integrity. It's not like you can go to school for that and take tons of workshops on the matter. It's more about remembering. And the only way to remember is to pause long enough to recognize that you're reacting, or to recognize that you're uncomfortable with the situation, because then you can bring something other than your discomfort. You can expand and allow the situation to be more comfortable just based on your perception of it. Yes, you can shift your perception of it. How? By wanting to. And so, if you find yourself in a conflict, it's because, well, you obviously want to be in that conflict. Otherwise, you'd make a different choice. And that choice would change the situation altogether. It would completely transform the conflict into peace. Whether the person that you're in conflict with joins you or not. It doesn't matter. It's your inner peace we're talking about. Your inner peace. That brings us to soul purpose. That brings us to you being so utterly connected with you. We can't say this enough. Really listening. Really listening. One could say, well, that's really being present, really being attentive, without the effort, with utter willingness. Can you give that to your life? That's our question for you. We know you want to. Otherwise you wouldn't be listening to us right now. Can you give your spiritual integrity to your life? It's a question that you must answer for yourself. We know what we want for you. We know what your souls want for you. It's up to you to choose that.